Hello, hello, good evening. I'm Adventure Argonaut. This is Golden News. I will discuss some news, current issues, politics, stuff like that in this segment. And apparently, damn it. Okay, Rumble is not working. I have to do some stuff still to get Rumble working. As usual. Okay, and then this one and this one. Now it should be working. Okay, so let's check all the streams are running. Yes, yes, on Kick and Twitch and then Rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Yes, okay. It seems to be working. Okay, okay, fine. So, once again, welcome to Golden News. I'm Adventure Argonaut, and please, of course, follow me on whatever platform you are watching me or listening to me in this case. But, anyways, I will talk about some current issues, such as the most recent one is Donald Trump. He came back to Twitter or X, or Twitter X, compromise name I use sometimes. Um, So yeah, he's on there, and there was yesterday. I guess it's yesterday or this morning for me, more like. Anyways, Trump and Elon Musk, they had some sort of chat together on Twitter, like a live chat, and there were some technical glitches supposedly. Um, and I think Musk said it was some sort of attack, DDoS, or whatever that was. I haven't had time to listen to the interview yet, but they said somewhere here that it started like 40 minutes late and whatever. Yeah, with more than almost million users connected to the meeting, more than 30 minutes after the schedule started and the interview had not yet begun. Well, I don't think that's even that unusual, and I do believe Musk in this case that there's lots of people who would want to hinder this discussion just because they hate, well, both of these guys for some reason really much. And I don't think in the grand scheme of things they're so significant on either, as the good guys or the bad guys or anything. But some people like to, I don't know, think that they are epitome of all good or all evil on earth. But anyways, so but the most interesting thing is this, that EU bureaucrat Thierry Breton sent a mean letter to Elon Musk following the unrest in England. And this is also relating to this discussion between Trump and I think this is also related to that, because he was going to have the discussion with Trump and Musk, but this was sent before it started, right? I'm not going to read all of it, but I'll read some parts. Dear Mr. Musk, I am writing to you in the context of recent events in the United Kingdom and in relation to the planned broadcast on your platform X of a live conversation between a US presidential candidate and yourself, which will also be accessible to users in the EU. So it's interesting. It's talking about unrest in the United Kingdom, and this is some EU bureaucrat, but United Kingdom is no longer a member of the European Union. So, what does any of this really have to do with EU and the EU bureaucrats? Like, if something happens in Azerbaijan, is EU that concerned? Yeah. Anyway, so So yeah, I understand you are doing a stress test on the platform, blah blah blah, and then then reminds him of some Digital Services Act, uh, because many EU citizens will be listening to this stuff, and and the X has legal compliance with EU law and blah blah blah. So and then this notably means ensuring, on one hand, that freedom of expression and of information, including media freedom and pluralism, are effectively protected, and on the other hand, that all proportionate and effective mitigation measures are put in place regarding the amplification of harmful content in connection with relevant events, including live streaming, which, if unaddressed, might increase the risk profile of X and generate detrimental effects on civic discourse and public security. This is important against the background of recent examples of public unrest brought about by the amplification of content that promotes hatred, disorder, incitement to violence, or certain instances of disinformation. Yeah, speaking of disinformation, there was it uh, NBC or MSNBC or something? There tried to make it look like Joe Rogan was promoting Kamala Harris, like sort of edited things he said to make it sound like that. But anyways, that's neither here or there. But yeah, so here it says like, oh yes, freedom of expression and information. That's important. However, censorship is even more important. It's like I don't know, and yeah, amplification of harmful content. Like I am curious, like how do they define harmful content? Because this letter that Mr. Breton wrote, I would call it harmful because reading it does sort of raise my blood pressure probably a bit. So this could be classified as harmful. And yeah, generate detrimental effects on civic discourse and public security. So basically, telling the truth, giving people facts, like actual facts of reality, might be harmful. So please pay attention to censor yourselves. So this implies informing EU judicial administrative authorities, blah 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 blah, as a reporting about content moderation. In this respect, I know that the DSA obligations apply with excess, blah blah blah, discrimination, blah blah blah. As you know, formal proceedings are already ongoing against X under the DSA, notably in areas linked to the dissemination of illegal content and blah blah blah. Illegal content. So what is illegal content? Like a crime happens and then you report it. Like if the criminal is the wrong color or something. Is that it? Um, so as the relevant content is accessible to EU users and being amplified also in our jurisdiction, we cannot exclude potential spillovers in the EU. So basically, like, you cannot speak about stuff outside of the EU, like America or UK, because it might affect the EU. Like there's all these people comparing it to Soviet Union or China or North Korea or whatever, but I I think it's even worse, maybe in the sense that the European people, or both American people too, I would say is much too domesticated. Let's use this word, because like in Soviet Union, I think it was more like a boot on your face. Like the citizens had to be tough, but the government was tougher, so they couldn't do much about it. But this is like just last week I showed the clip of police arresting some guy for his Facebook comments, and he was like, sort of like, oh, okay, well, I'll come with you. And should I bring my medicines if you're arresting me? And say, yes, you should bring your medicines. And it's the situation is this bad because, like, most places in Europe you don't see your stormtroopers from Star Wars or any like that on the streets enforcing their tyranny. It's more like because most of the people, they just go along with it, and they did nothing. The entire Western world has been heading into this direction ever since 9/11, like probably longer, but that was already when it started to become blatant, like when United States had the Patriot Act and all that stuff. That was bad, and then they started the wars, and Europe went along with all of it. So it's not like, and Europeans didn't do much about it. So in that sense, Europeans do deserve all of the bullshit they are getting because they didn't do nothing. Of course, there is the argument that people who are like 20, 25 years old right now, it's not their fault. Like something that happened 15 years ago, they were 5 to 10 years old. You cannot expect them to have done anything. And but like most people, they just well, whatever, let's just go along with it. And now everybody's screwed unless maybe maybe people will actually start paying attention and doing something. So yeah, blah blah blah. So is this basically saying that, yeah, you should, I guess, both censor the or please do not broadcast the evil words of the Orange Man, nor should you broadcast facts about what is happening in the EU, because it might affect. I mean, don't broadcast facts happening in the UK because it might affect people in the EU. So fuck EU. I fucking hate EU. I've hated it always. I am a citizen of the EU, but fortunately, I don't live in the EU currently. But yeah, this is the guy, Thierry Breton. I think he's the guy who wrote the stuff. He's been a chairman and CEO of France Telecom, so probably knows a lot about censoring communications. So entered politics, serving as Minister of Economy, Finance and Industry, blah blah blah. Harvard Business School, and now he's in the European Commissioner for Internal Market. Uh, yeah, so that's his current role. And here it says that the responsibilities are development of the 480 million strong European single market, promoting free movement of people, goods, services, and capital. Free movement of people sounds like bringing in more migrants from the Middle East. That's probably he's probably involved in that business. I get the impression. And anyways, continues. Thus, it is clearly a leading role, but has become more complex as a single market for services. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, a large area of work is now financial services, a politically sensitive topic for some member states. I don't know why financial services are so politically sensitive, but this guy is clearly involved in politically sensitive topics, such as censorship, like open censorship. Like I don't know. It's like what do people of Europe think about this stuff? Do they even know what's going on? Like most people. But hey, Elon Musk had a really good response to Mr. Thierry Breton's letter. He said, "To be honest, I really wanted to respond with this topic, a Tropic Thunder meme, but I would never do something so rude and irresponsible. Take a big step back and literally fuck your own face." Yes, I haven't seen Tropic Thunder, but makes me want to have a gander. Um, okay, then Then I guess we can move on to the next topic, which is UK. Well, it's related. It's more Europe. UK tyranny. Uh, well, yeah. Let's have a look at this first. Like this is happened just yesterday, I believe. The police arrest a man after a 11-year-old girl stabbed and seriously injured in London in where was it, Leicester Square, and also the mother was injured, but I guess neither injuries are not life-threatening. And so yeah, they arrested the. So it was a 32-year-old man who was arrested, and they're not looking for anybody else. Uh, so yeah, this is interesting. The mass stabbing sparked riots. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, knife attack in Southport, West England, Northwest England, in which 3 girls were killed and 8 other children injured, as well as 2 adults. So it's like, background of what is going in the UK right now. And the mass stabbing sparked riots across England after rumors online that the attacker was a Muslim asylum seeker. A British-born teenager has been charged with murder and attempted murder. This is like a joke. Like, yes, I don't think the stabber, is a Muslim asylum seeker, because he is British-born, but he was like, I think he was Rwandan, so he's, African ethnically. That case is also not being treated as terrorism. Um, and there was one detail here about the attacker, because it's not, as far as I know, it's not known yet what the identity of the stabber is. So it always makes you think, like, what's his background? So here, Desmond 45 told PA that the suspect, described as a young, white, skinny male wearing a black t-shirt and jeans, appeared to focus the attack on the girl. So he's a white, skinny male. Like, I've seen, like, at least in the United States, some I mean, news agencies, they show the mugshot of a black guy, and it's like uh, dark white skinned person or something. So we'll see if it's actually a white guy or if it's another new Englishman or not. Let's this one. Okay. Yes. And here's more stuff about what's going on in England.
What I would say to those people who think they've got away with being involved in the disorder on Tuesday or on Saturday, you absolutely haven't got away with it. We are coming for you. We've got hours of social media footage. We've got hours of CCTV footage. I've got officers working round the clock to identify who you are, where you live, where you work. We are coming for you. We'll be coming for you for the next few days. We'll be coming for you for the nenext few months. So you might get to next week. You might be sitting with a cup of tea thinking, phew, I've got away with it. Please let me reassure you, you haven't got away with it. We are coming for you.
Just look at this person. She looks like first, when I saw this woman, I wasn't even sure if it's a man or a woman, but apparently it's a woman based on the voice. But looks like Postman Pat. Here looks like this guy. that was my initial reaction when I saw this woman. It's like, she's assuring, like, oh, we will get you. You're not getting away, blah blah blah. And it's like, these are the words of a tyrannical government. It's very textbook, but it's not like, in the old days you would have expected it to be like, some tough soldiers, but this is like the kind of, this is like some HR woman lady or something like that, like some Karen. Like it's not even tough, like what if you actually said no when they come to arrest you? I'm just wondering, hypothetically, how would they react? Like, do they have guns? Will they shoot you? I don't know. Like, why did the people of UK let it go this far? Like, why? What's going on with people, like, mentally? And Rowan
Well, starting
Atkinson,
point.
he best known for Mr. Bean, but he has even better roles like Blackadder and stuff. He made a 10-minute speech about freedom of speech being important, and he said like he's being protected by the fact that he's a very high profile person. Like if they arrested him for wrong speak or whatever, it would create a big backlash, of course, internationally, and they don't want to do that. But if it's a average guy speaking out in the UK and then they're arrested, and then you're screwed. So kudos to him. He's it's rare nowadays when you see a celebrity actually doing something good, something moral, something even heroic, you could say, in some sense. So yeah, Rowan Atkinson, he's quite based. And okay, there's this article from the BBC: Live, Laugh, Love, Sand Anti-Artists Response to Riots. So talking about the riots because of the stabbing a couple of weeks ago. So a large piece of sand art has divided people or its meaning. The sand artist Fred Brown from York created piece on Bridlington Beach on Tuesday. Speaking about the work, he said, "The current situation with far-right extremists and rioting prompted me to draw something. It's open to interpretation, like art, I suppose." Yeah. So, you know, uh, little girls get stabbed, and you're just supposed to live, laugh, love. Look at the girls getting stabbed. How hilarious! This is the kind of people who support the establishment in the West. It doesn't really matter anymore which Western country you live in. It's the same kind of people in all of those places. Like most normal people hate this phrase "live, laugh, love," regardless of the context, but especially in this context, like children getting murdered for no reason, and it's like you're just supposed to laugh. Like the children cannot live, laugh, nor love that were stabbed. So yeah, I want to say something about this artist, but this might get me in trouble, so yeah, let's just move on. So yeah, first armchair rioter jailed for 20 months over online post inciting racial hatred. So yeah, you are a rioter if you shit post on social media, according to UK. Okay, and then you will be refused bail even if you only watched riots from the sidelines, judge warns. Whether active participant or curious observer, anybody involved in disorder will be locked up, Belfast court is told. Um, so yeah, this Cameron Armstrong, maybe I think this is like better. It's the same case. So Belfast is in Northern Ireland, so I think it's still, technically is part of the United Kingdom, even though it's geographically part of Ireland. And So Cameron Armstrong, 18, from Belfast, was charged with rioting despite his lawyer stating he had only gone to the area where protests were taking place to have a look. So, you've heard of thought crimes and hate speech, but how about I crimes? Like, I'm trying to, it's been a few years since I read 1984, but oh, what's going on here? Okay, I didn't mean to do that. So anyway, so are there like I crimes, seeing a crime simply that you happen to witness an event, and it makes you a criminal? Did Orwell predict this? You tell me. And what were the people doing? And then things got this bad. Like it's not like it's sudden. Like none of this was it was a slow walk to this direction, but it was like visible. It wasn't like completely in the darkness. And then there's of course this guy, the UK police commissioner, who everybody's saying he's um, threatens to extradite and jail US citizens over online posts. But I'm not quite sure if that's what he actually said. Everybody's probably seen this or heard about this news or anything, but he did say, like, I don't think he used the word extradite himself. He's quoted, "We will throw the full force of the law at people, whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes for further afield online. We will come after you." So yeah, I think it's all he said basically. We will come after you, and it more like sounds like a vague threat. More like like a teacher saying, "You're gonna stop doing that or else," and then not sure what's gonna happen if he has to um if they call his bluff. Like he's not sure what he's gonna do either. Like of course they can. Well, I guess the or else is like when the just few days ago, I don't know if it's still blocked, but like the you was it the UK police site, it wasn't accessible outside of UK, like sometime last week. I'm not sure if it's accessible now from abroad or not. But yeah, maybe that's all they're gonna do, because this is ridiculous, and like the whole world should be laughing. Both it's most like it's disturbing and terrible, but also funny because it's so retarded, and every fucking European should be ashamed, because I am. It's not like I said earlier, it's the EU Commission threatening Twitter basically for information, promoting information, whether it's Trump speaking or facts about England. And then there's this an immigrant who raped a 13-year-old girl in the UK was allowed to walk free because he didn't know rape was illegal. Supposedly. Like, it's just like, which is worse, that he's really so retarded he doesn't know it's illegal, or he's just pretending to be ignorant? And ignorance shouldn't be shouldn't protect you from the full extent of the law, right? Okay, this is, yeah, this is from 2016. So yeah, I was thinking because I've heard many cases like this. Yeah, I just saw it recently because it was posted just a few days ago. But yeah, because I remember around the same time there was a case in Austria, I believe, like some migrant from, maybe it was Afghanistan or something, who raped a boy. He was uh, like let go because he said it was sexual emergency or something, and it's like. But anyway, this reminds me of some video I saw probably like 10 years ago from I think it was Norway. Like they were educating immigrants from Somalia or something. And there was some immigrant saying, some Somali guy saying like, oh, in Somalia, like if you see a woman in a skirt or a dress, you can just go there and do whatever you can to her. But oh, apparently you cannot in Norway. And it's like, is the guy really that retarded, or is he just acting? Like, and which is worse? Which is worse? Like, are these people, these third world immigrants, are they truly like mentally retarded, or just lying because the government keeps covering up for their behavior? And 38 months in prison for posting a tweet that nobody ever even saw at the time. Father of 3 jailed over repulsive ex-post inciting attacks on asylum hotels. So I guess this is the tweet. Mass deportation now. Beep to all the fucking hotels full of bastards for Liger. If that makes me racist, so be it. Maybe he said burn. I'm not quite sure. Maybe that's the word. So okay, at least you can argue that's an offensive tweet, but like in a normal world, it is the platform would just force the guy to delete the tweet. But like this is clearly he's just venting his anger. Like stuff like this shouldn't land you in jail, not in any reasonable country. But who nowadays lives in a reasonable country? Like, put your hands up if you live in a reasonable country. Okay, there's this guy.
We will throw the full force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you.
Talk to me about that, because we have seen some high-profile figures whipping up the hatred. You talked about it in there with the officers, in fact, about this being added to by online commentary. I mean, I'm even thinking of the likes of Elon Musk getting involved. What are you considering when it comes to dealing with people who are whipping up this kind of behaviour from behind a keyboard, maybe in a different country?
Being a keyboard warrior does not make you safe from the law. You can be guilty of offences of incitement, of stirring up racial hatred. There are numerous terrorist offences regarding the sort of publishing of material. All of those offences are in play if people are provoking hatred and violence on the streets, and we'll come after those individuals just as we will physically confront on the streets the thugs and the obs who are causing the problems for communities.
Yeah, so he didn't, like, I think it's sort of fake news saying that this guy was saying extraditing Americans or any other non-UK citizens to UK for the internet crimes. Like, unless there's some another clip I haven't seen. But of course, these people should be, let's say, they should be fired. Or maybe these guys should be the ones who find their asses in jail. They are they've worked for the tyrants, and this isn't even like cool kind of. It's not like the Empire from Star Wars. So at least they had style. These are just so like they're not tough, they're not intimidating. So why do people put up with this shit? I don't get it. But yeah, so UK. UK is bad. All of Europe is bad. Please stop putting up with that, because yeah. So before I move on, I want to make one more statement. Like the French Revolution, they had good methodology but bad targets. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And here's Postman Pat. And then some MrBeast stuff. Like there's a bunch of different different things about the maybe this one. Okay, there's like bunch of allegations against MrBeast, and I'm certainly not gonna go through all of them because I wouldn't know where to begin really. But so let's just like well, one thing is that that guy called Delaware. Maybe I think everybody's heard about it. Like, who is a convicted sexual offender, criminal, and he worked for MrBeast for a while, and supposedly he knew about this Delaware guy's background, and he got the name because he's from Delaware and he committed the crimes here, and he's not supposedly allowed to go back there and stuff. And supposedly MrBeast is child-friendly programming. I still haven't watched any of his videos because I don't know. I always just found them thumbnails so cringe and stuff, and also disturbing. Like the name. The name is still, it gets me. Like, why is it called MrBeast? Not this one. How about this one? Okay, finally I managed to get the right browser. So this is from May. So before all this MrBeast or well, Chris controversy started about this Chris, his friend, supposedly being a kitty diddler or whatever, and so he parted ways with the his promotional company. What was it called? Night Media. Shut up. Night Media. So like this talent management agency. So yeah, they've been taking care of him since, was it 2018? Yes. And soon after this, all the controversies with MrBeast started. So take your pick. Is it that the company, maybe they were covering up for MrBeast and allowing or preventing all of these controversies, these scandals floating into the public eye? Or maybe they had like they were trying to extort money from MrBeast, and he refused, and that's why they are, I don't know, sort of digging up these controversies. I don't know. Well, I don't think that it, certainly I don't think that Night Media would simply be making all these things up. Like, I don't know to what extent all these allegations, and by allegations they are of course these that pedos that he supposedly employs or employed, and then that he was promoting gambling to children, and like fixing competitions, and there was some reality show he was doing with Amazon where people got injured and stuff because they didn't take care of all the security and stuff that well. There's these many allegations, and I don't know the extent to what extent they are reliable. Like, I do think that, well, I did always find this guy sus, and how he became, like, suddenly, like, I had no idea who MrBeast was, and then suddenly he was the number one YouTuber. Like, that was inorganic as all hell, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm not the guy to talk about the details of these allegations, but there is one thing that I've always found very sus was his name, MrBeast, because this is quotations, Thelema quotes from Aleister Crowley. If you don't know who is Aleister Crowley, well, you should. He was the British occultist who lived 100 years ago or so. There's even people claiming that he is Barbara Bush's dad or something, or grandfather. Which is it? I'm not sure, because they look a bit similar. Like Barbara Bush is George W. Bush's mom, and of course the Bush elder's wife. But anyways, that's whatever. That's just rumors and stuff. But there's this one quote I've heard from of Aleister Crowley a long time ago. The Beast 666 advises that all children shall be accustomed to from infancy to witness every type of sexual act, as also the process of birth, lest falsehood fog and mystery stupefy their minds, whose error else might thwart and misdirect the growth of their subconscious system of soul symbolism. Or in put more simply, Aleister Crowley, who called himself Mr. Beast. This is why I'm connecting. No, he didn't call himself Mr. Beast, but the Beast from the Book of Revelations from the Bible, the sinful beast or whatever. So yeah, so Mr. Aleister Crowley thought that children should be witness every kind of sexual act when they were young, to, I don't know, open up their mind to whatever. Because this is sort of sounds like the kind of people that Mr. Beast has been hanging around with, like who seem to be having similar practices with children. This is why it's this quote just popped into my mind, because I heard it years ago, and because like it still bothers me. Like, why would somebody whose image is that they are child friendly, why would your name be Mr. Beast? Because anybody, at least from my generation, who doesn't have their head up their ass, like when they hear Mr. Beast, they think of the beast from the Revelations. And if you know a bit more about this stuff, they think of Aleister Crowley. Like, maybe nowadays people don't care about this, the bad guys from the Bible, because now it's so like anti religious or atheistic. But back in the day, like let's say somebody called themselves Mr. Satan, nobody, you wouldn't do that. Like, if you're Marilyn Manson and you call yourself the Antichrist, you can do it because you're being edgy and stuff back in the 90s. But if you wanted to be mainstream, you wouldn't want to name yourself this. So why didn't Night Media, the talent agency, tell him, like, maybe this name isn't the best if you're gonna have a children's program, or if he didn't know? Because I'm not saying that Mr. Beast, whatever his Jimmy Donaldson is his real name. So I'm not saying that he necessarily named himself Mr. Beast because of the biblical monster, the Beast. I don't know why he named it, but like at some point you should have considered, because like, okay, nowadays, like, if people don't care about any of this religious symbology or whatever, but let's say like somebody was to name them their YouTube profile Adolf Whitler 88 or Colonizer 55 or something, like they would say it's like, or I don't know, the KKK gamer or something, they would be deemed very offensive. And like, okay, people named like that, they might have their market, but they wouldn't be mainstream. They wouldn't be marketed as child friendly. That's what I'm trying to say. And I just think it's so weird. Like the first time I heard Mr. Beast, why? It's like, somebody tell me. Maybe somebody knows the story behind the name Mr. Beast. But it's like, because if it's a corporate product like that, why name it like this? I just don't get it. But yeah, here's still a Night Company. They have other digital creators they manage. Kai Senat. I don't know. I don't really know who he is. I've just seen him mentioned here and there on social media. I'm not sure why he's relevant. And I don't know who is ZHC or Sophia Newgard. So founder Reed Dusher, and CEO is the president is Ezra Kuberstein. Okay. I just can't think of like consider anybody run by these big talent agencies to be legit. Like it sounds very it doesn't sound grassroots. It's astroturfing if they become popular, in my opinion. And okay, let's move on to the next topic. It's just I always thought Mr. Beast was sus simply because of the name, but maybe I'm just old. And then the last part is the Brazil plane crash. Was it Friday? There was a plane crash in Brazil. Yeah, so an ATR-72 turboprop plane operated by regional carrier Vopass crashed on Friday in a residential area near Sao Paulo, Brazil, killing all 62 passengers aboard. And I think it's like somewhere it said that 4 of them were crew and the 58 were passengers. So, of course, it sounds like it's a smaller plane because a normal plane has bigger crew, at least in my experience. And yeah, they don't know why it crashed, but I think it said the black box has been recovered and they're investigating and all of that stuff. So, no, nothing much to comment there, but like, otherwise, I wouldn't consider this newsworthy for myself since there's no like let's say unusual angle. But then there's this. I saw this. Somebody posted this on Twitter. 8 cancer doctors among dead in Brazil plane crash. 7 others changed flight at last minute. Especially like this, like 8 cancer doctors dead. And well, of course, I was like, okay, that sounds a bit sus. But then I thought, like, okay, maybe it just means that they were going to a conference, and that's exactly what did happen supposedly. So yeah, at least 8 cancer doctors who were heading to an oncology conference were among dozens killed in a plane crash in Brazil's Vinhedo on Friday. Okay, this is interesting. Emergency crews confirmed on Saturday they had uncovered the remains of all 62 victims, including an unaccounted person later found to be on the plane. So, who is this unaccounted person? Is he the reason the plane crashed or something? Like, maybe there's like a good explanation for this, but it sounds a bit weird. Like, why shouldn't you usually know who is aboard a plane and who is not? It's not just your average ferry that anybody can jump on and off. Like you usually have to prove your ID and everything, and it's recorded that okay, you boarded this plane or not. So yeah, I have to wait for information, I guess, and hopefully they are gonna find out whether this had any relevance, that this unaccounted person, who he was or who he or she was, and what significance them being unaccounted had. But yeah, they were going to the oncology conference, and so yeah, and a total of 15 doctors were supposed to be traveling to the conference on the flight, but 7 of them had taken an earlier service. So their lives were saved because they took an earlier flight. So, it's probably just coincidence, bad luck, whatever. Or like let's say that there was a terrorist or something on board, like let's say this unaccounted person, maybe he just, I don't know, he wanted to kill his ex-wife's new boyfriend who was also on the flight or something like that, and they were just, collateral damage, these doctors, like who knows. It could be something like that, or it's just, an accident, and the significance of these doctors, there might not be any. But then again, like, just looking at it from an alternative angle, what could have happened, like, maybe these 8 doctors, they they knew something about cancer research that the, pharma companies, or whoever, or some government don't want to be leaked to the wider public or something. And maybe these 7 people, they were in on it, like, maybe they were used, maybe this whole conference was used to lure these 8 people onto the same plane, and then the 7 doctors was like, oh, sorry, we didn't come on the same flight as you. Or, maybe they were also supposed to be victims and they just got lucky. That's possible too. But, like, maybe the conference was a trap all along. Who knows? Just putting the idea out there. Like, I'm not saying I believe it, but it's like, I was thinking just alternatives. And then there's, of course, this, that, cancer mRNA vaccines, like, past couple of years, I've seen pharma companies talk about, like, making mRNA vaccines for cancer, which is weird because back in the day nobody associated vaccines with cancer prevention. Like, I've never heard about vaccinating against cancer until mRNA vaccines. And, well, in my opinion, mRNA vaccines only vaccinate you against life, but, and I certainly won't be taking these injections, but, because who knows whether there's a connection with these, cancer specialists dying, and then, pharma companies promoting new cancer research, like, just hypothetically, like, who knows whether these people would have said, like, well, these treatments don't work, like, cancer doesn't work the way you say, like, no injection is gonna cure cancer for you. Just trying to look at different angles of this story, because I don't know, like, most likely this is just an unfortunate coincidence. And of course, there's 50 other people who died besides these, and that's of course unfortunate as well. But it's like, I don't know, like, seeing numbers like this is sort of, um, it activates my sus sense. But yeah, that's all I have to say for today. Guess just go back to this. I like, I'm not that convinced, like, pleased with Elon Musk's all his, claims that Twitter, since he bought it, that is for free speech and stuff. It seems to have limits in certain respects and in certain topics, but at least, he seems like a real person, unlike these bureaucrats and stuff. And at least Elon Musk does some good things too. And, I do think that these bureaucrats should be ousted from power, like from throughout all of Europe. Like, Europe is a dystopian shithole, and at least Western Europe, Northern Europe, maybe Eastern Europe is a bit better off. Um, but yeah, that's all for golden news for today. So I'm Adventure Argonaut, and please follow me on Twitter and Rumble, Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. I was, for some reason, I was about to say Facebook, but no, I don't use Facebook. But anyways, thank you for watching, and Golden News is out. Bye bye.